She is the woman I have doted on for 7 years. In order to hold a grand wedding for her, I worked day and night without rest, even pulling consecutive shifts and staying up late. However, I accidentally got into a car accident. After the treatment, I still often feel short of breath. Just as I was about to go to the mall to pick her up and take her home, I accidentally overheard her conversation with her best friend, Daphne. Did you deliberately stage a car accident just to get one of his kidneys for Ethan's transplant? Have you ever thought about what would happen if Julian found out? He's your fiancé's, it's just one of his kidneys. As long as Ethan can survive, I'm willing to do anything. He just lost one kidney. He won't die. Besides, I'm very careful. I won't be found out. He still thinks I love him to death. My hands couldn't help but clench tightly, and the blood in my whole body seemed to freeze. It turned out that my car accident wasn't an accident. It was deliberately planned by my fiancée. She even stole one of my kidneys. Since that's the case, then the wedding I carefully planned for her. I'll just change the bride. The mall is especially bustling during the spring festival. Through the bright glass of the coffee shop, I could clearly see her holding a cup of coffee with a worried look on her face. As long as he can live, what's one kidney? As for Julian, I'll make it up to him after we get married. He just lost one kidney. It won't have a big impact on his health. Across from her best friend Mia said, but Ethan doesn't even know that you got the kidney for him. Is it really worth it for you to do this? From the very beginning, he only got close to you for the money. He doesn't love you at all. I only heard her say firmly, whether he loves me or not. Being good to him has become an instinct for me. As long as he can live, I'm willing to give anything. Not to mention getting a kidney for him, I'd even give my life. If my kidney wasn't a mismatch, I would, as long as he can be healthy and safe. Mia asked in confusion, then what about your fiancé Julian? You've been together for 7 years and are about to get married. What does he mean to you? If one day he finds out that he's missing a kidney, what will you do? I don't know what to do either. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. After saying that, she drank up the bitter coffee in her cup in one gulp. I sat behind them, and my tears couldn't be controlled. No matter how bitter the coffee is, it's not even 1/10,000th as bitter as the pain in my heart. It turned out that the car accident wasn't an accident. It was a conspiracy for her to illegally obtain my kidney to save Ethan. I remember Ethan. He's her personal male assistant. He's only been working for half a year, but I didn't expect him to be so important in her heart. So important that she's willing to do illegal things for him. 3 months ago, when I saw her taking meticulous care of me, I was touched by her for a long time. Just because I said I didn't like the male assistant around her, she fired Ethan. I thought she loved me deeply, but now I realized that she was afraid of getting caught. Accepting my proposal was just her way of making up for the guilt she felt towards me. This so-called love is simply ridiculous. I composed myself for a moment and got up to walk towards them. When she saw me, a flash of panic crossed her eyes. She quickly stood up and took my arm. When did you get here? Why didn't you say anything? Did you hear everything? The word yes got stuck in my throat. I said with difficulty, no, I just came in. Her voice involuntarily carried a hint of reproach. Julian, the doctor said, you're weak now and can't catch a cold. Didn't I tell you to rest at home? I twitched the corner of my mouth and smiled. I knew you were shopping with your best friend, so I thought I'd come and pick you up. She immediately let out a sigh of relief. Thinking that luckily I didn't hear what they said. Holding my hand, she said coquettishly, thank you, honey, for coming to pick me up. You're so sweet. Her best friend couldn't bear to watch any longer, so she made up an excuse and left on her own. I picked up her small bag for her. As we were about to leave, I pretended to ask casually, your male assistant used to follow you around all the time. Why isn't he here today? She smiled and said, oh, honey, have you forgotten? He's already left. How could I still be in touch with him? There's only my husband in my eyes. There's no other man. After saying that, she threw herself into my arms, acting like a delicate little bird, rubbing her head against my shoulder. When I wasn't looking, she quickly deleted the chat records with Ethan on WeChat. Her answer was perfunctory. I still hadn't recovered from the shock, so I didn't want to pursue it. In public, I wanted to leave each other with the last bit of dignity. In the car, we were silent all the way. She just leaned closely against my arm, but her eyes and hands were constantly replying to messages on WeChat. When I asked her, she just said it was something related to work. After we got home, while she was in the bathroom removing her makeup, I answered a call from my mom. Before she could say anything, I said, I agree. Mom, I agree to the arranged marriage our family has planned. My mom was immediately excited on the other end of the line. Good son, you finally come to your senses. Marrying a woman who can help you is 1,000 times better than that. Daphne, but didn't you propose to her? What about her? I was silent for a long time and didn't answer. A mother knows her son best. Seeing that I didn't speak, she sensed that something had happened to me. She just let out a sigh and said, all right, if you don't want to talk about it, I won't ask. But the woman for the arranged marriage is also a powerful woman in Daphne's family. She's related to Daphne. Daphne even has to call her aunt. I'm afraid it will be awkward for you two to meet. So, you better make things clear to Daphne before you get married. I rubbed my forehead. I know, Mom, the time and venue for the wedding don't need to be changed. Just change the bride and everything else will remain the same. After hanging up the phone, I kept pinching a cigarette between my fingers, but I didn't light it. After finding out that I was missing a kidney, I didn't dare to smoke anymore. This is the price I paid for this love. I don't know when she appeared behind me. She hugged my waist from behind and said in a sweet voice, "Honey, who were you talking to on the phone?" "What wedding?" "It's nothing. A friend's wedding happens to be on the same day as ours," she said excitedly. "Then it'll be a double celebration." Not noticing the look in my eyes, she stood on tiptoe and buried her head in my neck. "Anyway, my husband will definitely be the most handsome groom at the wedding." I calmly moved her away from me. I said indifferently, "Yeah, I'm going to wash up first." But she rushed up and hugged my waist tightly, rubbing her forehead against my back. Her voice was deliberately seductive. "Honey, what's wrong with you today? Are you not happy? Tell me if there's anything bothering you." "Okay, I'll be unhappy if you're unhappy." "Are you tired? I can give you a massage while you're taking a bath." "Okay." If it were before, I would have lost all my resistance already. Now, I used a bit of strength to break free. "It's okay. Don't think too much." Then I walked into the bathroom and immersed myself in the bathtub. It's a lie to say I'm not heartbroken. She's the woman I've loved for 7 years now. Not only have I been betrayed in love, but she also stole my kidney. The other person is just an assistant, and she's known for a few months. She can treat my life as a trifle. I slowly sank down, and the water filled my nose and ears. It still couldn't quench the anger in my heart. When I went back to the bedroom again, she was already asleep, and her phone in her hand was still emitting a faint light. Suddenly, a message popped up, and the note was, "Daphne, I've already warned you before. The truth can't be hidden forever. As your sister, I think it's necessary for me to tell you something. I've investigated and found out that Ethan doesn't really have kidney failure. He's been lying to you, and he even managed to get a kidney and a large sum of money out of you. As your sister, I'll give you one last reminder. Julian really cares about you. I've seen all the things he's done for you in these 7 years. You should think carefully about how to atone for your mistakes." After hanging up the phone, every word Mia said was like a thorn stabbing at her heart, one by one. Yes, how could she have forgotten all the good things Julian had done for her? She actually thought that Ethan was better than him. She must have been crazy. She still didn't give up and tried all kinds of ways to beg for my forgiveness. I watched as she was openly mocked by others. Isn't this the illegitimate daughter of the Daphne family? The bride who was publicly rejected by the Julian family? How dare she come back to the Daphne family? Haha. I heard that the bride of the Julian family is her little aunt. I wonder if anyone will want her in the future. She really brought this upon herself. Now you're just the laughingstock of the Daphne family, and the Daphne family won't even let you in their door. I suddenly remembered the past. There had been many such situations in the past, and it was always me who stood up for her. But now she had no one to protect her, and she was still the illegitimate daughter that others talked about, something that couldn't be seen in the light. I watched as tears streamed down her face. After struggling for a while, she finally lowered her proud head. "Please let me in. I just want to see Julian for one last time. Just one time." Their shoes stepped on her hands. "General Manager Julian is very busy. He doesn't have time to see you." The discarded bride. "Besides, if you want to beg for something, you should act like it. As long as you can make us happy. Maybe there's a chance for you to see General Manager Julian. The leader of the group bent down and casually patted her face. Her fists clenched tightly. Her fingernails dug into her palms, drawing blood. But she didn't care about the pain or her dignity. There was only one thought in her mind, and that was to win me back. She wanted to tell Julian that from beginning to end, the person she had loved was always him. Seeing that he had married someone else, her heart felt as if it was splitting apart. A few seconds later, she got up from the ground. According to their demands, she cowed out 3 times with a loud thud. Finally, one day, she obtained my itinerary through some special channels to meet me just once. She paid a heavy enough price. I was holding a 100-day gratitude banquet for my child with my newlywed wife. In the hall, I put my arm around my wife and toasted the guests. There was a proper smile on my face. Suddenly, her disheveled figure burst in. It immediately caused quite a stir. I walked up to her and said with dignity, "Miss Daphne, are you here to attend my child's 100-day banquet?" "You already have a child," she said in an extremely hoarse voice. She had prepared a whole lot of things to say, but now she didn't know where to start. She could only stand there blankly and follow me to take a seat. "Yeah, by the way, after all this time, you haven't even called me uncle-in-law once." I looked at her with a smile, yet I knew exactly how to say the most hurtful words. Her body couldn't help but sway. She forced a smile, but it looked uglier than crying. "Uncle-in-law, I wish you happiness." I nodded, turned around with my wife, and didn't look at her anymore. When I turned around, I saw the corners of her eyes were wet with tears. In the end, I still chose to give the 7-year relationship the last bit of dignity. Later, I heard it was Ethan who bribed the doctor and deliberately fabricated a false medical record. He specifically used a certain drug that could make people become infatuated, making Daphne unable to leave him. He said that only my kidney could save his life. Ethan came from a poor family background and had learned to be two-faced since he was a child. Sometimes his acting became reality. Even after getting my kidney, his body still started to have problems. My kidney began to reject his body. In the end, Daphne's company went bankrupt. A large sum of money appeared in my account. She turned herself into the police station and didn't forget to report Ethan. Moreover, she spent money to dig up all the negative information about Ethan on the internet. Ethan was completely disgraced. I knew that this was Daphne's way of showing her guilt towards me. She punished Ethan with her own hands. From then on, we would meet each other as if we were strangers. Ethan, you're always so kind. The floor is so flat. How could you fall down the stairs for no reason? Fortunately, you're not seriously injured. I'll help you back to the ward first and ask the doctor to check if you've hurt anywhere. She didn't look at me again and directly ignored my bleeding arm. I tried my best to control my emotions. The pain of losing a kidney was far less than the feeling of my heart being completely broken at that moment. After bandaging myself up, I took out my phone and asked a professional to investigate the car accident. I was going to prepare a special gift for her at the wedding. As expected, she didn't come back that night. The next day, she finally sent a message to explain. Julian, I was too impulsive yesterday. After all, Ethan has worked for me for half a year. Even if he didn't have any great achievements, he still put in a lot of effort. I'll give him some compensation on your behalf. Let's just forget about this matter. I'll come home when his condition stabilizes. Honey, you stay at home and wait for me obediently. She was trying to have it both ways now. But how could that be possible? Since she chose Ethan, how could I easily let go of the hurt she caused me? I smiled and just read the message without replying. A few days later, I received a call from her. Her tone was extremely panicked. Honey, why did the wedding planning company call me and say that you returned the wedding dress and the suit? Why? While looking at the new wedding plan, I perfunctorily said to her, didn't you say you gained some weight last time? I asked them to change the size. She immediately felt relieved and said, oh honey, I can lose weight. But honey, you're so thoughtful. I love you. Well, go and take the wedding photos again in a couple of days. I won't leave you alone again, honey, she promised with great determination. Just when I thought there was still a bit of affection left for me in her heart, after waiting for a week, instead of hearing from her, I came across the trending topic that she had bought a luxurious mansion for Ethan. The internet has a memory. Soon, netizens discovered that all the clothes and items Ethan used were personally selected by her. Everyone began to speculate about what their relationship really was. She didn't respond. When I questioned her, she just said casually, honey, this house is the compensation for you pushing him downstairs. Even now, she still treats me like a fool and keeps lying to me. I sent a message to my family and showed them the new wedding plan. In the middle of the night, I received an email. She was so focused on Ethan that she didn't notice anything unusual about me or the wedding preparations. It wasn't until the day of the official wedding that she sent me a message. Honey, when are you coming to pick me up? I'll ask the bridesmaids to secretly let you in. I took a look at the message and still just marked it as read without replying. It was only when she found that I wasn't replying to her messages or answering her calls that she started to get anxious. But the wedding still went ahead as planned, and it was even live streamed throughout the whole process. Even though I didn't go to pick her up, she still showed up on time outside the banquet hall. The bridesmaids looked at the scene and sighed in confusion and said, why is there another bride? Daphne, isn't that your aunt? Why is she also wearing a wedding dress and standing next to General Manager Julian? She stared at me in shock. At the same time, I sent her the private photos of her and Ethan on her phone. Just one glance, and her face instantly turned pale. There was also a video from the hospital. The surveillance footage clearly showed that Ethan had deliberately fallen down the stairs and then framed me for it. But she had already convicted me without listening to any of my explanations. This incident showed that Ethan wasn't as innocent and detached from worldly affairs as he seemed on the surface. After she had looked through all the documents, at that moment, her phone rang. General Manager Daphne, the thing has been exposed. She lowered her voice and said to the other end of the phone, are you talking nonsense? How could that be possible? Didn't the person who caused the accident already turn himself in? What's going on? The other person stammered as they tried to explain. I don't know either. Anyway, all the agreements and evidence have been investigated and found out by the people hired by General Manager Julian. I watched as she completely froze in place and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. She was completely panicked and walked up to me, her voice trembling as she said, Julian, I know that anything I say now is useless. I know I was wrong, and I was terribly wrong. Just give me a chance to make it up to you. Julian, I know you must be very angry right now, and I know you won't forgive me easily. But the wedding is about to start. Without a bride, you can't just let the whole city laugh at the Daphne and Julian families, can you? Please, I'll only love you from now on. Let the wedding continue. Okay, I said calmly, stop deluding yourself. No matter what, we can't go back to the way we were. From the moment you fell for Ethan, it was all over between us. My wedding will go on as planned. But you won't be the bride anymore. Pointing at the wedding dress on her, I said, take this wedding dress off. I designed it, and you don't deserve to wear it anymore. Her eyes instantly turned red, and they were filled with regret. I can explain about Ethan. I was also deceived by him. I'm begging you, give me one last chance. I really know I was wrong. My voice was indifferent, showing no emotion. As I said, once there's been harm, just admitting the mistake can't give my kidney back to me, can it? Daphne, it's completely over between us. I asked the security guards to throw her out, and the wedding continued as usual. She met my mom at the door. After my mom found out what had happened to me, she already didn't have a good impression of her, and now her expression was even more unpleasant. What are you doing here? Do you still want to hurt my son? I'm telling you, the Julian family won't have someone like you as a Don't show up in front of us again. If it wasn't for my son being blind for a while, and not seeing you clearly, I would never have agreed to you to being together, no matter what. Don't think I don't know about your dirty deeds. Today is my son's big day, and I won't argue with you. Get lost now. One thing after another woke her up, and after the novelty of her affair faded away, she remembered all the good things I had done for her over the past 7 years. She didn't make any excuses. With a thud, she knelt down in front of my mom. While slapping her own face wildly, she kept apologizing frantically. Auntie, I know I was wrong. Everything in the past was my fault. I was bewitched, and I must have been crazy to hurt him. Let me see him. I'll do anything. I'm begging you. Remembering the harm I had suffered, my mom's eyes turned red. When you were fooling around with your assistant, did you know what he had done for you? The people from the Daphne family came to our door and didn't agree to you running your personal brand. It was only because he repeatedly guaranteed that you wouldn't touch the Daphne family's interests that they left you alone. 2 years ago, your rival tried to use underhanded means to make your company go bankrupt. It was Julian who used the Julian family's 3-year cooperation deal to make them let you off. You have no idea that in order to make your career go smoothly, Julian often worked so hard that he slept for less than 3 hours a day. And what about you? You kept blaming him for not spending time with you. As my mom spoke, her voice became more and more choked up towards the end. My dad hugged her from behind and comforted her, saying, don't talk about it anymore. Fortunately, our daughter-in-law isn't her. It's all in the past now, and our son won't be wronged anymore. Daphne was shocked. Why didn't she know any of these things? Soon, she realized that Julian had always only told her the good news and never the bad. No matter how big the trouble was, in front of her, he would always say that it wasn't a big deal. So, she really thought that everything was okay. For a whole 7 years, she had no idea how much pressure he had endured for her. No wonder, no matter what she wanted to do, she could always succeed quickly. It turned out that there had always been someone supporting her from behind. She couldn't hold back anymore and burst into tears. When she was mocked by everyone as a wild child, it was me who protected her and chased away those who laughed at her. When she wanted to start her own brand, I didn't hesitate to use the Julian family shares to help her. I accompanied her without any complaints and helped her through all kinds of difficulties. But just because of a momentary infatuation with Ethan, she betrayed me. Suddenly, guilt consumed her completely. How could she have become such a person? She had sworn that she would treat me well, and she had even stolen one of his kidneys. She really deserved to be damned. After calming down, she called her best friend, Mia.